Welcome to the Business Spotlight. I'm Brenda Hector, and with me today I've got Katrina and Paul Allan of Murdoch Allan, the baker. Tell us just a bit of an introduction to yourselves for anyone that's not familiar with you or your business. Who are you and what do you do?
Okay, I'm Katrina. I'm one of the directors along with my husband Paul. I've been in this business for about 20 years. Previous to that, my history is working for McVitie's, where I started when I was about 16, and doing various jobs throughout the business, making biscuits, doing chocolate line, training to be supervisor, then on to management. So pretty much all rounder and doing a lot of different things within the business, which has been really helpful in our current business.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Paul? How did you come to be a director in the business?
Well, I've been a baker for over 30 years now, believe it or not. I can't believe it myself sometimes. I served my time with my father.
Mm-hmm.
Did about 15 years a night shift, and then the business kind of grew exponentially at one point where we took over the site here at Hatton. So when McVitie's pulled out, we took over a site and the business grew like 4 times overnight. So standing in a bakery wasn't suitable anymore to learn how to manage a business, a bigger business, if you like. So it was a massive learning curve at the time, but it was always good to hit the ground into the trade, you know, up my sleeve, if you like. So it's been an exciting journey, really. You know, we've came from one shop to almost 10 million turnover. So we're quite proud of what we've done, and we enjoy what we're doing actually on a day-to-day basis. Yeah.
So in my first ever job, in a little village shop in rural Aberdeenshire, I was making butteries.
Okay.
Very good.
Anybody that's not from the northeast of Scotland might not even know what a buttery is, but it's a local delicacy loved by many, but not nutritionists. So yeah, my first ever job, I made butteries in the little shop. I was about 13, 14, 15, something. Yeah, so I was so pleased when I saw you guys coming on today, because it's like, oh, I've got an understanding of what you do, although to be fair, it wasn't 10 million in turnover. So how did you, what were the things that you had to learn from being the baker yourself to running a 10 million pound business then?
So I suppose people management was
growing the team around us has been really important.
The biggest challenge, and I suppose financial control. You know, we kind of came from looking at the bank statement to see how you were doing, rather, but it gets a bit more technical, as you know. So we've been, the business went through a really tough time financially at one point, actually, when we came here. So specialised lending were involved in these kind of things. So it really focused me on having financial control and financial information timeously. So that as well as stood us in good stead. Again, when you get past that, if you keep that disciplines in place, it really helps you make decisions as a manager or as a director of a business. You know, having departmental P&Ls, kind of KPI, weekly KPIs, and we would never come away from that now. I think it's very, very important to have that information, and important to have it timeously. It's no use to you. You know,
it's important.
2 months after an event, it's no use to you. You need it. In time.
And discussing it and actioning on it every week and that as well. So if there are any issues, it's really important that we just get action on it and get any problems filtered out really quickly.
So making fast decisions.
Yes.
Yeah. And I like what you're saying about knowing the numbers and getting that on time. So many of the businesses that I talk to wait for their accountant to provide them with information, which is all very historic. So that's
we're quite fortunate that we have that quality of people in our business, you know, because I suppose because it's important to us, we make sure we have, but again, we've got some good people in the admin finance side that, again, without their input, it would be much more difficult to make decisions on a daily, weekly basis, wouldn't it?
It's important we know where we are so we have got the money to reinvest in the business, to buy new kit, can all these improvements we want to make, but it's also important in case we have to make any decisions that we don't want to make. Sometimes it'll be like, can we're overstaffed, or this isn't working, what do we want to do? So it's knowing from both sides what we want to do, either to improve or do something about it.
So how big's your team actually?
We employ 153 people altogether. Our senior management is six people in senior management, team leaders, supervisors, and that as well. So we have a team of drivers, and we have 6 retail shops already in Tariff, Peterhead, Fraserburgh, Mintlaw, and Hatton. So we do a lot of the multiples and that as well. We service Asda, Sainsbury's, Morrison's, recently started Aldi and Lidl and that as well.
Oh, fantastic. So what's the same, excuse me, from going from the small business then, Paul, to this massive business, what things are the same? Because a lot of people with a small business,
the values have changed. So I think we try and do what it says in a tin. So we don't want to over package what we're doing. For example, we want it to look nice, and but it's a product we're interested in. Bakery, it's not always that, but I think the key values are, you can value. We're not cheap. We don't want to be expensive. We want to be value. What we're doing is value product. Recognising our customers, so we're very customer focused. I would say more so than we were when we were a smaller business. So you were kind of, well, that's what we're making, and that's what I want to make. And again, whereas now, we do a fair bit of research, and we try and give the customer what they want, the service the customer wants. So the core values are not changed, I suppose. The customer service, the product quality, the value that we offer our customers.
The personal touch is really quite still there.
That's never changed. I would say what maybe has changed is, our challenges are getting other people to do what we would do, if that makes sense. It's hard to describe, but I think that's the biggest challenge we face on a daily basis, is building a team, having the right people, rewarding the right people.
Growing from within is really important in that as well. We do try and see skills and what other people within the business, and trying to grow them and furthering them up the career path and that as well.
That's right.
I like that. So what have been your biggest, what have you learned about yourselves actually in your journey as business owners?
I think communication's been massive. And I think communicating we're really fortunate where we're both in the business. So like our conversations around the breakfast table is about work, and at night time it's about work, but it's difficult to describe, but it's easier for us. It like flows, it's just normal, it's part of life. And as a business owner, but like I said, because we're both working in it, it's easier. But communicating with staff, communicating with customers, speaking to people, I think that's what I've found is pretty much anything you can do. Pretty much as long as you're speaking to people and keeping in contact and having a good relationship, whether it's customers, staff, suppliers, I think that's the biggest thing for me.
A big part of communicating as well. It's not just saying or sending an email or whatever. Are people understanding what you're saying? That's a critical point for me. And so we could discuss something together, and it's like so we know, again, we can see what we want. But sometimes trying to communicate that to other people can be difficult. So it's not just a case of, well, I've said about this, or I've told you that, or I've asked you about this. it's about ensuring that folk are understanding
our vision,
what we're kind of saying. And I would say that's the biggest learning for us. So ensuring that people are actually getting and understanding what you're meaning, if you know what I mean. So you can sit and say things and talk about things, but are people actually absorbing it and taking it in? That's been a big thing, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree.
We've got a saying within Action Coach: communication is the response you get. So you might think that you've communicated it, but actually the proof will be in how your team member, for example, delivers that. If they delivered it differently to what you were expecting, then you didn't communicate it.
Yes, correctly. Yeah.
And I think when you're saying about what have you found out about yourself, so me personally, I can be like 10 steps ahead of what I'm discussing with people. So in my mind, I'm 10 steps ahead. And that can be an issue with communication, because I'm kind of talking about what I'm seeing, and it's like, well, stop a bus, and you kind of say to people, look, if I'm going too fast, you need to
you need to let them catch up a bit.
let me know.
And is that just through your enthusiasm for the business?
Yeah. He's speaking about next Friday, and we're only on Tuesday.
Which, again, it's strengths and weaknesses, isn't it? So it's a strength and a weakness, but I've just, well, as long as you bear it in mind, you know, and make sure that people are still on board, and our team are kind of used to it now, so they'll say, oh, wait a minute, Paul,
what about us?
Go back a step.
What do you mean?
So, yeah, so I suppose it's a strength in some respects, but a weakness in others, especially when it comes to communicating. So,
sorry, on you go.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying, you've just to bear that in mind when you're communicating.
Yeah. What's been your greatest achievement?
Staying in business. Staying in business. We've had a few things over the years, but I think COVID, whilst it was difficult, it
was okay for us.
It was okay. I was going to say it was okay for us.
Initially with COVID, and I'm sure every business person in the land and an employee in the land, when it was first announced about lockdown and that, nobody had any information, you know. And we had employees coming to us, you know, about my pay, you know. Nobody knew. And we didn't know any more than they did. Our response was, well,
we don't know.
If you're watching Boris, you're getting the same information. We are really. And I think
some of the closest shops was difficult, wasn't it? It was a difficult decision. It's a difficult decision to do because the staff are really worried. But
we've felt a need to service our customers. So we'd kind of a service to customer kind of thing going on. We had staff being scared. When it first came about, you were only allowed so many people in a shop, and people were queuing outside, and they were coming in and throwing bloody donuts at folk, and
it was quite
throwing money at them and coins and stuff. And it's like, whoa, So
we kind of took a decision then, though.
So we were we didn't know what to do, and then when we heard about folk getting dogs abuse, really, who were working in the shops, we said, well, can't I hear this? So from a safety point of view, it was like, we need to shut. And so that swung the balance, really.
And then we were getting a lot of messages from people that were man in the white van kind of thing, and they're like,
lorry drivers and
where are you open? There's nowhere open. We can't get a roll. And just for people that were working, and like you said, taxi drivers and all these people that were still working. So it was so we kept the shops open for that.
Well, latterly,
we closed them to start with,
and then we tried to open them as and when we could, really, but based on customer service.
We really weren't sure how it was going to affect the business. So it was a bit, what's going to happen here? It was really daunting for a while. But
furlough was a welcome.
Yeah, absolutely.
A really welcome. Get out of jail, like it was. Because you didn't know at one point we're going to pay everybody off, or what. Where does the money come for you to do that? And
and the thing is most of our staff are long-standing. We haven't got we're taking on people just now for new contracts, but a lot of our staff have been here 20 years, 30 years. Can they retire with us? So it was going to be really expensive to do. So
Well, not just expensive, but heart-wrenching as well.
Yeah. So I think it was the most recently.
I think for me, coming through that financial, again, real tough financial trouble to the point the business was almost getting closed down, to managing to trade out to it, the discipline to trade out to it, to again go right back to basics, and chop out anything that wasn't working, and again getting the financial information. An accountant said to me years ago, he says, well, everybody's good at measuring what's coming into a business and what's going out of a business, but they're not so good at measuring what's in the business, and we had to get good at measuring what was in the business, because with some tough with shops to close, with the business was bleeding money, and we just had to stop the bleeding and then build for there. Whilst not easy, as I said earlier, it leaves you with a kind of financial understanding of your business you might not have had. If you've been trading away profitably for years and years, you maybe don't look at these things quite as hard as you do when things are tough. And we've kind of kept that discipline, as I said, in the good times as well, kind of thing. So we're still, if someone's not working, we'll say, right, we need to rethink this and try another approach, or take it out, stop doing it. But I would say that for me was I was only 23 at the time as well. Really, it was a
hard time.
It was a tough time, but we're still here and kicking, so that's the main thing.
So would you say that you learn more from the hard times?
Yes, 100%.
Without a doubt.
100%. And we've come, like Paul says, for bakery and that as well, we've come from the factory floor up. So I think that's gave us such a better understanding, whilst we're not downstairs, we're not on the line so much as what we used to be, but we still go down and help for tea breaks, and bit more for interaction with the staff and that as well. Because it's nice to know how such and such as mom's getting on, and we have a good relationship with all our staff. But yeah, it's definitely helped us go through the hard times, and coming out the other side, it's gave you really important tools for us to carry on in the future.
So the future then, what does the future look like for Murdoch Allan?
Well, I would say we've just came through a real investment in our branding.
Yeah.
So, 6-figure sum probably.
Yeah, for branding.
Between webs, our actual branding, web presence, socials, and it's not something we really paid a lot of attention to before, but we felt we were probably behind, a bit late to the party actually with it, but we just felt we needed to invest in our image and our brand and kind of bring it up to date. And I would have been, I've been very surprised with the success of it actually. So if someone had said to me, right, if you rebrand that shop, you'll double the sales, I wouldn't have believed them, but we've seen it for ourselves, really we've kind of rebranded, updated the offering, and I couldn't believe the improvement in revenue, really, which is really good, it's a great thing. But you think after 30 years in business, a thing or two, but I got my eyes open to it. I really did.
We were looking to expand on that as well. Maybe a few shops, maybe with the same kind of template. We'd recently opened. We've got another part of the business as a distillery. So we're making gin and vodka. So still spirited, which launched earlier on this year. And again, that's online and that as well. So yeah, it's exciting. It's just when you were saying like where you worked up before, like here's the same. It's a little wee village, and it's just in Aberdeenshire. So it's really good for the support that you get from the local village and that as well.
Oh, and think about what you're giving to the village. That you've got 153 jobs you're creating. How many families are you supporting? And yeah,
it's fabulous.
Fantastic. So quite a diversification then,
Aye.
from your breakfast butteries to your evening tipple. Yeah. What's that been like then? Has that been a bit scary, or has that been exciting, or?
The history really, I was a kind of home brewer with wine. I would make fruit wines and that at home. We just kind of said, oh, well, Katrina drank, I'm not going to should go online, but Katrina liked a grey goose, and I was like, £40 a bottle.
I'm not paying that. It was okay if I was on holiday. He'd pay for it on holiday, but when I come home, he's like, nah.
I think maybe have a different attitude when you're a consumer or the business selling it, eh?
Aye, exactly. So it was playing about really, and
Yeah, it was kind of NPD.
initially it wasn't very good, was it?
No, not at the start. It wasn't the greatest of stuff at the start.
I was just as passionate about distilling as I was at baking.
Yeah.
And I was saying to Creda, like, try this. And I think I almost poisoned her a few times. No on purpose. I hastened to ask. So we're it was a wee bit of like, we're not getting anywhere with this, so we need to buy the right kit. I was kind of messing about at home with.
Yeah.
So we bought the proper, small scale proper kit.
Yeah, we did a lot of research. I went on a distiller's course, doing Bakewell and that as well for a week, because that was really interesting. It was nice to meet different people that are doing that for a living. So we don't do it for a living just now. It was nice to be able to take a time and meet those different people and see what their products were like. It was really good.
So can I made a product that we thought was so good we need to sell this, really.
Yeah.
That's how it came about.
Yeah.
And then COVID hit, and it was like, right, let's get licensed,
well, we've got time now.
The shops are all closed. I couldn't believe how much time
that we had.
I had more time in my hands, so I focused on that a wee bit during COVID, and spent a bit of money in branding and packaging and things, and we just launched there, as Katrina said, a few months ago, and initial findings is quite promising, but
the gin sells really well. And it's a really kind of like, I've never been a gin drinker before, but I do drink that gin because it's a really like yummy gin. It's nice. It's a lovely gin. And our shop here is licensed and that as well. So we sell a lot of it out the shop and that as well. It's really popular here locally.
So, but it took. I think your initial question was again. It took quite a lot of trials to get
where we were.
I mean, gin even
took us a lot of time to formulate the recipe.
3 years probably till we got something working happy
that we're really happy with.
But I think the lack of experience was a lot to do with that, wasn't it?
And because we had the bakery and that as well.
You've always got
our day job as well. So, but we were just recently won silver at the CMB Awards. So both of our products won silver. So that was really
it's encouraging.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So yeah, two businesses then to be thinking about the future and the growth. Two very different markets. So what do you hope the future holds?
I would like to see for the alcohol side of it. I would like to see it on shelf more. I would like to see it in duty free. I'd like to be going on holiday and pass it on the way past. I think that would be one of my main goals. I think that would be pretty fantastic.
It's when you know you've made it. Eh?
I think that would be really good.
I think for me as well, I think we've got the model kind of right now. So with the bakery I'm talking about, so kind of a retail offering, we could quite easily replicate that now. It's taken a long time.
But the footprint's there now.
Got a successful model there that we would like to roll out, but only in the right place. You can 20 years ago you could have opened 25 years ago you could have opened a baker's anywhere really, and can probably made it work. But now you need high footfall. You need the price of the price of energy and that now, it's kind of have to have a good shop to make it work.
Yeah.
It's very difficult to try and make a what would you say, a low footfall area work, you know. Also, I think what we're doing on a local level with bakery, so it's kind of changed, whereas we still have shops, but can supplying into the multiples. So that works really well for us. I think it's great for the customers as well, because they can buy your product whilst they're shopping. And we appreciate that kind of opportunity we've had for various multiples. And what I would say is, when we got the opportunity, we've really worked at it to make it work. So can sometimes you get an opportunity at something and it can die in the vine, but we've kind of made sure it wouldn't die in the vine. So there was a lot of effort went into developing the multiple business to make sure it was successful. And that's
cultivating the relationship's been really important, especially locally, and that as well. The local stores has been really good.
So
what would you say to someone that was thinking that they wanted to go down that route? They've got a product and they want to get it on the supermarket shelves.
What I would say, getting listed is maybe the easy part, but one of the easiest parts is keeping it listed. So you know, you need to walk the streets, going around the stores, making sure the product's on shelf, make sure, again, it's really important that
you almost need to be your own merchandiser. You have to be looking out all the time once it's on shelf, is that as well.
So whilst it's great to get a listing, it needs to be looked after. That's really my advice to anyone in this situation.
And you do need to look after it. And don't expect other people to look after it. You have to look after it.
And I think the other side of it is, I'm just trying to think how you describe it, but do as much as possible for the buy-in team. So you can almost do that. They're busy people. You've got to appreciate how busy they are, and you need to do your bit for your product to help them. You don't expect them to do it for you. You know what I mean? It's I'm not saying do their job for them, but you need to
support it as much as you can.
That's fantastic. That's really, really valuable advice there, that a lot of people would probably not be expecting. You're thinking that once they get in front of the buyer and the buyer says yes, that's them, job done, that's the success. But
it's the tip of the iceberg. I think
it's
it's a nice tip of the iceberg. Don't get me wrong, you know, when you get that listing, it's great, but
if it doesn't work, you're the first one out.
You have to. I would say you need to look after it. And if it's not working, go back with something else that will work. You know, just don't lose that space. You know what I mean? Because there's a lot of people fighting for it. The buyers have a great saying, "When I got elastic shelves," and that's true.
Well done. Congratulations on being there and continuing there and growing in the others. So as I told you I had 15 minutes, and I think we've talked for nearly half an hour. So thank you very much, both of you, for
thank you. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome.